And so transgress means to cross over, and you begin to get the picture of Jesus, right? This is how he's a type. Adam did it intentionally. Was it the right thing to do? I have no idea. Obviously, sin is wrong. God absolutely hates it. He sent Jesus to die, to wipe it out, to put an end to the rule and the reign of sin. But what would have happened if Adam didn't cross over? Adam would have been alone forever, like God, right? God didn't want to be alone forever. Adam didn't want to be alone forever. But the picture here is that Adam looked at Eve, and she's over there in the world of sin. And he said, I am going after her. Jesus is in heaven, and he's looking at you and me, and we're over there in the world of sin, and he says, I am going after them. See, he couldn't just say, Eve, come back. Come back, jump over the other side again. It's too late. And Jesus couldn't just say, okay, I'm just going to take a whole bunch of these people to heaven. One day, whoop, they're gone. No, he came into the world to buy us back. Had to be done legally. And what Adam did was a legal transaction, actually. To transgress was a legal transaction from his place of righteousness into the world of sin, so that he could be with Eve and they could fulfill what God called them to do. And I believe that Adam did it in hope of a Redeemer. Would you think that'd be true? Yeah. So what's the first thing God did when he came into the garden?
Yeah, talked to them.
He made a sacrifice for them, didn't he? He talked with them, he made a sacrifice for them. He covered their nakedness. Remember they said, we're hiding because we're naked? And God covered their nakedness. Isn't that something? I believe that Adam could see that God, in his infinite love and justice, did Adam know God closely? Yes. Are you kidding? Yeah, they walked in the garden and talked in the garden, everything, made in his image, not yet fallen. What did this man look like? What did he think like? Must have been amazing. He had none of this trying to have a good relationship with God like we do, right? I mean, he had it, man. He was right there in the garden, just created by God himself, and breathed the life of God into him. And so you got this man in this position who says, okay, I'm crossing over. And I believe that he knew God well enough to know God's nature. Even if there was no promise at that time, I don't know if there was or wasn't, but even if there was no covenant made at that time, but he knew God's nature, that God would have a way of redemption. And that's kind of the basis of this systematic theology. If you ever studied systematic theology, the idea is that God made man so that he could sin, because he needed someone who would love him. So obviously he had to give us free choice. If we don't have free choice, you can't love God. You can't choose to love him. Have you ever seen somebody forced to love somebody? They don't love them, do they? You know, on the inside, I don't love you, right? I don't care what you do, right? And so it's that kind of a place where you know the nature and the love of God to such an extent that he sees, you know what? Here's a God that'll love me. And so because God is like that, we understand and we say, okay, obviously God had to make a way of redemption. If he made a way that man could sin, he would have to make a way that man could be redeemed. So death reigned before. Death freely reigned until the law. When the law came, death was now imputed against us. The law now has the big finger pointing at you every time you make a mistake, saying, that's wrong. See, and that's a different relationship, and now that is what reigns. Condemnation reigns, okay? And so we see the type of Adam being revealed, or the type of Jesus being revealed in Adam's life, and how that redemption is going to come. All right, so verse 15, but the free gift is not like the offense. See the word but? Again, we see that leveraging. But the free gift is not like the offense. Well, no, because it's greater. The free gift is way greater. For if by one man's offense many died, much more the grace of God and the gift by the grace of the one man, Jesus Christ, abounded to many. He keeps giving us these almost numerical or measured comparisons, right? Where it says, the free gift is not like the offense. If by one man's offense many died, did everybody die or many? All. So he's not really talking about a certain number, right? He's talking about a comparison. He's talking about this picture, okay? One man's offended, many died. One man's righteous act, many became righteous. By the grace of the gift of God, by one man, Jesus Christ, it abounded to many. Verse 16, and the gift is not like that which came through the one who sinned, for the judgment which came from the one offense resulted in condemnation, right? the big finger. But the free gift which came from many offenses resulted in justification. All right? So you see this in verse 15. He's saying the gift much more abounded. Okay, in verse 16 he's saying that through the gift came many made righteous, right? Through the one offense many were made sinners, but through the gift many became righteous. And in verse 17 he says that the gift much more abounded, so we reign.